Disassemble the baffles outside the sliding bears on both sides of the grate base and make marks on the sliding bears and guide rails of A and B sides for facilitating resetting after replacing the grate bar. Turn on the grate gear reducer, keep the grates in the running state, and find the grate bar that needs to be replaced. At the same time, rotate the grate adjusting nuts on both sides of A and B to minimize the tension between adjacent grate pins and grate slices as far as possible. Open the grate access holes on A and B sides of the grate base and stop the grate gear reducer. When the grate bar to be replaced, just move to the middle position of the grate access holes. After disassembling the cotton pins and anti-wearing gaskets, use spare grate pins to push the two grate pins of grate bars to be replaced to the position of the damaged grate bars in turn, and then remove and replace. When placing the new grate bar, the front and back direction should be consistent with the original grate bars. After replacing the grate bar, install and reset the grate pins. During the reset process, adjust the grate to ensure the smooth insertion of grate pins and install the parts like anti-wearing gaskets, cotton pins, and grate access holes. Run the grate gear reducer again to make the grate move. At the same time, rotate the grate nuts on both sides of A and B to bring the grate back to a tight state again and reset it according to the marks made before. In order to ensure the smooth running of the grate, it is necessary that the grate passes at least 2 test runs to ensure that the grate does not deviate. How to tell whether the grate is deviated? After completing the test run of the grate, observe whether there is any change in the gap between grate bars and baffles on A and B sides. If a fixed gap distance is maintained, it means the grate is not deviated. However, if the gap on one side is widened after the test run, tighten the grate adjusting nut on that side. Adjust gradually and continue to observe. After completing the readjustment of the grate adjusting nuts, conduct another test run to observe the gap between the grate bars on both sides of A and B and the baffle on both sides. Keep the gap size fixed.